Coming up next on MASL Primetime, Florida was looking to stay undefeated on the season, taking on Milwaukee, but the champs had something to say about that as they were looking for revenge. The last time Utica City faced Harrisburg, this happened. They faced off again for the first time since that game last week. And Baltimore Blast legend Vinny Dantas joins us via Skype to talk about his team's play so far this season. It's all coming up next on MASL Primetime. This is MASL Primetime. Welcome back and Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Alex Bastiavansky. Week 6 in the MASL was by far the busiest thus far on the schedule, with 13 games taking place from coast to coast. So needless to say, we've got a ton of highlights for you today. Let's start with the big rematch. In Week 3, the upstart Florida Tropics knocked off defending league champion Milwaukee on the road, no less. And heading into the return engagement last weekend, Florida had yet to suffer a single defeat this season, but the Wave were itching to avenge their only loss of the campaign, setting up a juicy contest in the Sunshine State. Highlights in this segment are brought to you by Miter. Miter, the official soccer ball of the MASL. And you know Milwaukee has had this game circled on the calendar since their loss back on December 7th. And they sure played that way to start. Luan Oliveira breaks the ice to make it 1-0 Wave. Second quarter, Milwaukee up 2-0 when Guilherme dos Santos rips it home to cut the Tropics deficit to a single goal. Oliveira was just merciless on this day, though. The beauty left footer restores their 2-goal lead. Fourth quarter now, Wave up 5-2. Florida mounts a comeback. Lucia Gonzaga bangs home the rebound to make it 5-3. And then Zach Reggett refuses to give up on the play. The juice was worth the squeeze, as they say. Tropics were within a single goal, but Oliveira was a giant for Milwaukee. This is his fourth tally of the contest. It is the dagger that proves to be the game winner as the Wave exact their revenge and hold off the Tropics by a 6-5 count. Milwaukee also hosted first-year Mesquite in Week 6, and the Outlaws were thinking upset all the way in for a while. It looked possible. Jose Maria Otizi had them up 1-0, then he makes it 2, but then Milwaukee woke up. Beautiful passing. Tic-tac-toe. Mario Alvarez getting the Wave on the board, and then Ian Bennett from in tight. He doesn't miss those. That tied it up with 2 apiece. We skip ahead to the fourth quarter now. Milwaukee leading 4-2 when Jamie Lovegrove hammers home the second chance to keep the Outlaws within striking distance, trailing by a single goal. But the Wave put this baby to bed late in the fourth. Alex Bradley laying it off for Oliveira to give them some padding. And they would add one more as they double up the Outlaws 6-3. An interconference battle. KC hosting Tacoma, and the visitors strike first. Nick Pereira to Eddie Na, and 1-0 for the Stars. But then it was Leo Gibson doing his usual Leo Gibson thing. He's a regular in our top plays every week. That one will make the cut as well. Bar down as KC's player coach ties it up 1-1. 3 minutes later, Ray Lee going to work and hammers it past Danny Waltman. The 3,500 and KC were loving it. They go up 2-1. 40 seconds later, it's Gibson to Lee again, and there's nothing Waltman can do about those ones. Comets led 4-1 at the half. We move to the third quarter now. Tacoma trailing 5-1 when Nick Pereira just shreds the KC defense. Beautiful goal to make it 5-2. All KC after that, though. 9-2 final. Ray Lee had 3 goals on the day for KC.
We pressured him right off the bat. Created chances off of that, so that was amazing for us. That's what we're great at. You know, we have good legs. We can run a lot and run teams into the ground with our pressure.
The Dallas Derby, the Sidekicks hosting Mesquite and all Outlaws in this one. Vicmore Eligwe picks their pocket and finishes in style here to make it 1-zip Outlaws. Soon after, it's Eligwe taking the long pass, dancing around the keeper and making it 2-0 for the visitors. Second, Outlaws leading 3-0 at this point. Anthony Powell shakes and bakes and rips it home to make it 4-zip Mesquite. Second half, sidekicks get on the board. Looks like the shot gets redirected. Arthur Evo getting credit. 4-1. Mitchell Cardenas provides one of the strikes of the week there, though. Oh, a howler. Top corner as Mesquite continues to own Dallas. They crushed them 7-2. And our points leaders through 6 weeks of play. Leo the Legend now tied on top with Nick Pereira of the Tacoma Stars, followed by Christian Segura, Enrique Quinez, Frankie Teyu, and Max Ferdinand of the Milwaukee Wave. Hey, welcome back to MASL Primetime. So with the Florida Tropics getting dropped by Milwaukee last Saturday, there was but one undefeated team remaining in the MASL. That would be the Monterey Flash, who'd been absolutely dominant in racking up 5 straight wins with a goal differential of plus 29. It would take a Herculean effort to knock off the Flash, but they got pushed to the limit last weekend by the unlikeliest of opponents, the Dallas Sidekicks. Dallas, of course, had gotten crushed 7-2 by Mesquite 2 days before, so nobody was expecting much, but they brought it. Christian Quintana drawing first blood for the Sidekicks off the nice strike. The Flash even it up. Miguel Vaca on the far side calmly collects and slides it past Juan Gamboa. Second half, the Flash take the lead. Brian Aguilar cranks it off the inside bar. Fourth quarter now, Monterey up 3-1. Cue the comeback. Jonathan Segura, maybe the goal of the week there. A screamer from a different zip code. Brilliant. And then it's Freddie Mugin with the second effort. The Sidekicks tying it up, sending it off to overtime. Alas, it wasn't to be for them. Hugo Puentes, the golden goal for Monterey as they take it by a 4-3 count. Nothing for Dallas to hang its head about, though, as they nearly take down the league's #1 squad, coming oh so close. Okay, the Battle of Missouri. St. Louis hosting KC. As is usually the case when these squads play, it was a classic. Raysari, textbook arena goal right there to get things started as he rings it along the boards. Arena soccer at its finest. 1-zip Comets. $1.45 later, Leo Gibson continuing to punish MASL goalies. Roof Daddy, 2-zip KC. That's when Tony Walls goes to work for the ambush, though. Sublime solo effort. And the sweet finish, 2-1. And then it's Walls right on the doorstep here. Easy little tap in. 2-2 after 15 minutes of play. Second quarter now, KC back in the lead when Paulo da Silva rips it home. And then a little hello to the fans afterwards. High five. 3-3 game. And then it's Douglas Dos Santos, the one-timer upstairs. Oh, St. Louis taking its first lead of the game, up 4-3. Second half, Stephen St. Louis doing all the hard work here. Turns Ray Lee inside out, gives Tony Walls his easiest goal of the season to date. 5-3 ambush. You knew KC wouldn't go quietly, though. Leo Gibson spotting a crack in the wall. He exploits it. St. Louis would hold on for the 7-6 win, though. Tony Walls absolutely loved the resilience his squad showed after being down early in the game.
I mean, we're playing well. We're playing with a lot of heart. You know, we go down, we battle back. It's a credit to my teammates, and I'm really just proud of this group. You know, started off 0-3, and now we're 500. You know, we came a long way, and let's keep it rolling.
San Diego hosting Sonora, and the Sockers shot out to a 2-0 lead, but Sonora hit back big time. Enrique Quinez cuts it to 2-1. The second half, Quinez continuing to roll. Beautiful little spinorama goal. Boris Pardo can only watch. All tied up 2-2. 3 minutes later, Manuel Aragon through the legs of Cesar Cerda, perfectly placed. 3-2 Solis. They actually went up 4-2, and then San Diego got it together. Slava, the one-timer out front, that cuts it to 4-3. And then Leo De Oliveira crushing the offering to even it up 4-4. Slava adding another shortly after, his second of the contest, to give the Sockers the 5-4 advantage. They'd go back and forth the rest of the way, with San Diego holding on for the triumph over the Solas. Okay, Rochester still looking for its first win of the season, hosting Harrisburg, just a minute 51 in. Nelson Santana, the feathery soft touch that finds the back of the cage, heat up 1-0. Then Elton De Oliveira crushing the offering to make it 2-1. The Lancers get on the board. Looks like the ball just takes a redirection past William Banahany, and Rochester was down just one. Second quarter, Heat leading 3-1 when Gibson provides the cheeky little back heel to make it 4. Matt D'Amico, the deflection out front, cuts the Lancers deficit to 2 goals in the second half. D'Amico puts it home, and the Lancers dare to dream, but Harrisburg just too much. Matt Brame, the massive strike. Rochester stays in it for a bit, but the Heat pull away in the end for the 10-5 victory over the Lancers. Okay, one of the best rivalries in the MASL, Utica hosting Baltimore. 1-0 blast when Ricardo Dieguez puts it home, and then has some words for Baltimore after. This was intense. The blast would respond. Juan Pereira hammers the setup past Andrew Coughlin. 2-1 Baltimore at the half. Third quarter, Christian Segura, the Rocket ties it up 2-2. Fourth quarter, Vinny Dantas to Andrew Hoxie, and the Blast regain their advantage. But with time winding down, Moises Gonzalez rips it home to knot things up. This one needed overtime to settle things, just 58 seconds in. It's the mustachioed maestro playing hero for Baltimore. Hoxie steals, converts, and the Blast get their season back on track as they take down UCFC 5-4. Hey, welcome back to MASL Primetime. One of the most dominant players in the MASL the past few seasons has been the big Brazilian who plays for the Baltimore Blast, Vinny Dantas. Once again, off to a sizzling start this season, up amongst the league's scoring leaders, and he joins us now via Skype. Vinny, welcome to MASL Primetime.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. Excited to come here and talk about the game with you guys. Yeah,
well, great weekend for your team. You beat up on Rochester pretty good Saturday. But the big challenge, of course, on Sunday against a very strong Utica City team, and you managed to edge them 5-4. Just take us through the games this weekend.
Yeah, you know, we needed to send a statement this week and really start getting back to who the Baltimore Blast is. The biggest challenge for us was definitely yesterday with Utica and how they set up. They're a very, very good team. They know how to keep the ball. They know how to make you defend. But who we are and what we do in the past, I've been here for 5 seasons, hasn't changed. We defend. Honestly, we make it really hard to break us down, and we had to get back to that this past weekend, and we did, and we were able to walk away with 2 good wins.
Well, you sort of alluded to it before. It's been an uncharacteristically slow start for the squad this year, and of course, I'm only gauging that on the success that the franchise has had over the past few years, which we're going to get to in a moment. But you've evened up your record at 4-4 last weekend. What's your assessment of the way the team's played so far overall?
Not good enough for who we are and what we can accomplish. This team has tremendous players that can give ourselves a chance for a championship shot every season. You know, the fact that we have some new guys coming in, and the fact that some of the players went through surgeries and injuries and all these things made it to a slow start. Not trying to make excuses. We are on the field, we're running, we're playing, and we just haven't been good enough. But we had some big moments the past week of heart-to-heart conversations and really just like getting after what makes us successful. And we're not there yet, but we're going in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, Tony Donatelli, I wanted to talk about him for a second. He had a great weekend, 3 goals in 2 games. He's right behind you in team scoring. Just talk to us about Tony and what it is he brings to the Blast.
Tony, for me, is like red wine. The older he gets, the better it is, and it's unreal. He's the guy that brought me to the Baltimore Blast. We played in Ottawa Fury together, and he was the one that told me about the Blast 6 years ago. And Tony is just calm, collected, composed as you will find in this league. Clutch, the ball, when the ball needs to go to somebody to make something happen, it always ends up at his feet. He's one of those guys that had a surgery this past season, and he's coming off of surgery, and he's not even 100%, and he's still delivering what he does. So I can't speak highly enough of Tony. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's had a great start. You know what? Let's just finish off with Vinny. You know, the Baltimore franchise has just such an amazing, a rich history, and of course, you have won 3 of the last 4 MASL championships. Just talk about what it's like to play for this organization, which has such an amazing winning tradition.
It's amazing, for sure, but it's very hard as well, because every single time we're out there, we get everybody's best shot. That's coach's like #1 thing he tells us. People gun for us because of the reputation we built, which then makes it really hard for us to have off days. We can't afford off days. We can't afford to slip in a game or another, because every single team that's coming, they're coming with their best because they know that they have to bring their best. And that makes it a very hard thing, but also I'm extremely proud of the work we've done and the reputation we've built, and I'll keep working really hard to keep that reputation going.
Well, you look like you guys are on the right track once again, and like you said, you guys are truly, you've set the standard over the last few years in the MASL. Congrats to you, and you know what, just thanks for taking the time joining us today, and Happy New Year as well, my friend.
Thank you so much. You guys have a Happy New Year as well, and keep tuned because the Baltimore Blast has a lot more in store.
Now, Vinny and his boys certainly had a lot in store for Rochester. The first-year squad got overrun last weekend. Andrew Hoxie getting it started, poking it past the keeper to make it 1-0. 45 seconds later, Mohamed Ndiaye converts, but goes down hard. Thankfully, he was okay. Late in the quarter, Jonatos Mello feeds Vinny, and boom goes the dynamite. 4-zip blast. Dantas wasn't done yet. Beautiful solo effort for his second of the game. You can see where this is going. Second half, the carnage continued. Tony Donatelli, his first of the contest, 9-0. 55 seconds later, Tony making it look so easy. 10-zip at that point. They would add another for an 11-0 final. Baltimore looks like they're getting it into gear after a slow start, which is scary news for the rest of the league. Welcome back to MASL Primetime. After a week off, Utica City FC was back in action in Week 6, taking on a team that's quickly become a bitter rival. Earlier in the season, Harrisburg was in Utica for a contest that nearly ended up as a full-scale brawl. Looked more like a hockey game. Both benches cleared, punches were thrown, headlocks applied, suspensions handed out. Last weekend was the first time the two squads had faced each other since. The question was, would they stick to soccer or end up on the naughty list again? Game highlights in this segment are brought to you by Sports Resource Group, proud partner of the MASL, SRG, building walls that bring us together. There's not much love lost between these two squads. Utica City hosting Harrisburg. Flashback now to December 8th. In the dying seconds, two players tangle alongside the boards and everyone gets in the act. The bench is emptied. A couple of suspensions were handed out. Now, apologies to the fight fans among you. They behaved this time. They actually played soccer. Jake Schindler draws first blood for Utica, and the big crowd was loving it. 1-0 UCFC. Harrisburg responding, though. Jeff Hundelt sprung on the break and slides it past Andrew Coughlin. Even Steven after 15 minutes. Second quarter, all Utica. Ricardo Dieguez, the beautiful one-timer. 2-1. 5 minutes later, Christian Segura says, yeah, I can top that. And he does. Gorgeous from the same spot. 4-1 at the half. With the score 8-5, UCFC. Patrick Thompson tattoos that effort to pull the heat within two. UCFC, too much though on this day. Omar Obasi sticking with it. He hits pay dirt. City and Harrisburg behave this time. It's a 10-6 Utica win. They take it. Okay, let's head to the left coast. Ontario hosting Sonora. Frank Teyu picking up where he left off the week before when he was the player of the week. Opens the scoring for the Fury. A minute later, Enrique Quinez answering for the Soles. And there's some mustard on that offering. 2-2. With Ontario leading 6-5, Juan Carlos Gonzalez nails that one to make it 7-5 Fury. But the wheels fall off for Ontario in the fourth. Trailing by 1, Sonora evens it. The strike by Javier Duram. And then in the final seconds of play, Manuel Aragon, the dagger for Sonora. As Ontario lets one slip away, the Soles come into town and steal the win after being down by 3 goals at one point. One more for you. St. Louis hosting Tacoma. Death, taxes, and Nick Pereira. 3 things you can always count on. The reigning MASL MVP just continues to produce. 1-0 stars. Stefan St. Louis providing the nice feed for Tony Walls. And it's 1-1. 27 seconds later, JT Thomas, the man from Yorkshire, England, giving the ambush its first lead of the game. Back and forth they went. Corey Kites hits the ball off a St. Louis player and in. And it's 2-2. We move to the fourth. Tacoma leading 5-4 when Eddie Na smacks it home to make it 6-4 stars, but they couldn't shut the door. Tony Walls continuing his dominant week as he roofs the second chance out front. And putting the ambush within a goal. And then back to JT Thomas we go. Setting up in his office at the side of the net, and boom, rocks it top shelf. St. Louis evening it up 6-6, and with less than 5 minutes remaining, they win it. You got to be good to be lucky, and lucky to be good. This one goes in off the gluteus maximus of Mike Scharf. Hey, they can't all be 10s. Great comeback by St. Louis as they win it, and Tacoma continues to struggle. Okay, the MASL Team of the Week for week number 6, and Tony Walls, of course, from St. Louis, Juan Pereira, Christian Segura, Luan Oliveira, Jake Schindler, and Paulo Cortez of Mesquite. And our primetime player for week number 6, it's Tony Walls of the St. Louis Ambush, who was instrumental in 2 big wins for St. Louis. Walls had 7 points in 2 games. Wins over Tacoma and Kansas City. The Ambush is now back to the 500 mark, and Walls has played a huge part in that. And our plays of the week, starting with number 5, KC's Leo Gibson. He's a mainstay in our top 5, and he crushes it. Bar down against the Stars. Number 4, it's the aforementioned Tony Walls, doing it all himself, showing off some textbook arena soccer in the process, using the boards and glass. Number 3, Christian Segura of Utica City against Harrisburg. Hammers the shot past William Bonahany. Number 2, Nick Pereira of Tacoma, the masterpiece against KC. And you got to take a closer look at this one. Look at that footwork. This guy is something else. And number 1, Jonathan Segura of Dallas against Monterey, the screamer from a different zip code, short side too. Gorgeous. That is our prime time play of the week. And that's going to wrap things up for today. But just a reminder, MASLsoccer.com is your home base for all things in the Major Arena Soccer League. And there's all kinds of other social media to keep you up to date as well. Thank you so much for watching MASL Primetime. We'll see you next week.